What a precious song, yes? Love it. That's Faith Rivera, right? Yeah. So Faith Rivera is a New Thought artist, and I had the opportunity to meet her when we lived in Hawaii for a year. And she is Hawaiian, and that song and that moment and that memory made me think. So I just want to take a moment just to send our love and attention to the fires in Hawaii, and particularly on Maui, that were just so devastating. You know, I heard that they moved at a mile a minute. There was no warning. And so just taking a moment and just sending our love to all those who have been impacted by this natural disaster. Knowing that there is a great healing that is happening right here, right now, that Mother Earth herself is calling forth us to wake up, to pay attention, to care for her, for each other. So may we be open to how we all can be better stewards of our earth and for our community. And always asking what is ours to do, not only in times of natural disasters, but in everyday moments. How can we show up for each other as the beloved community, as a neighbor, as a friend for those in need? This is what we are here for. Okay. Oh, yes. So, what I know is that planted within each of us is a divine seed, creative genius, a perfectly imperfect passion and purpose. And it's up to each of us to let that grow. So the seed of divine perfection is innate. Yet, it will not bloom and prosper and grow and flourish if it is living in an environment that is toxic, filled with judgment and fear and doubt. And the environment that I'm talking about is our inner landscape. What are the thoughts and the feelings and the beliefs that we have about ourselves that are either nurturing this seed or stunting its growth? So I share this not from a place, again, self-judgment, because we can easily hear that and be like, and turn it on ourselves again, like, why aren't I letting myself be free? Why aren't I letting myself be all that I'm here to be? That right there is why, because we're judging ourselves. So let us be free, because when we recognize that we have the power, it gives us the power to realize that we are always at choice and that we can turn around in each moment and nurture and choose to love and to honor that innate seed within each of us. And yet it's so easy to doubt ourselves, to doubt our abilities, to compare ourselves. Our brains are literally hardwired for fear. This kind of, we are evolving from having this survival instinct that was very important for a time when we were still hunting and gathering. But we have evolved beyond that so that we know that even though there is still that part of our brain, that is not the totality of who we are. And we have more awareness in each and every moment, in each and every day, to, again, take back that power that lives within us and to choose love, to choose peace, to choose to talk ourselves, to speak ourselves up, and to remember that divine presence, that divine seed that is the truth within all of us. And yet sometimes it can be easier to recognize that in others more than ourselves, especially little bright children that have no fear in expressing and shining their light. So I bring this up as an example because what we can do in those moments where fear comes in, where we may not be feeling worthy, where we may not be feeling enough, we can turn our attention to someone that we do see that in. And then we can embody that consciousness, we can embody that beingness within ourselves to help us continue to grow and to nurture that seed. This story just popped in my mind. When I was in college, I spent summers in Lincoln, New Hampshire doing summer stock theater. And there was this beautiful river, and we would go out and, and obviously it was a hot summer, play in the river. Well, there would be moments, I'm noticing a common theme when I shared the story last week of hiking in the Grand Canyon when the fear comes in. So there would be moments, too, when I would want to play and be in the river, but the rocks can be very slippery. And I would find that fear come in, and I'd all of a sudden go, I'm going to fall and hurt. And well, I would look at the children around, skipping from rock to rock and playing and not being hurt. And I would literally choose to embody a 9-year-old boy. And I would kind of okay. And I would embody the essence of that 9-year-old boy that wants to play, which lives within me too, that wants to have adventures and explore life. And then I would be able to confidently jump from rock to rock. And if I slipped, it wasn't I can never get in the river again, right? I was able to embody that essence, which gave me more aliveness, which offered me more opportunity to play and to have fun and to interact with nature, which is something I truly desire to do. So again, it doesn't mean everyone has to go out and go hiking and jumping in rivers, but if there's something within you that you naturally desire to do, but there's fear holding you back, how can you, in your own life, embody some essence that will help you explore the wonderful opportunities that this life offers? We are never separated from the one. Call it divine intelligence, universal life, spirit, the divine, God, whatever works for you. We are connected with all of life, and therefore we are we are backed by this infinite power. And we can always lean into this to be led and to guide us in whatever opportunity and direction we desire. So recognizing that we are not alone allows us to trust in something greater than that small part of our brain that says, fear, 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 right? That says, doubt, no, who are you? You're not good enough, be careful. We can look at nature as a beautiful example. Although it may be frustrating when the weeds start to come through the cracks of the concrete of your driveway and sidewalk, what power and strength do they have that they are going to lean into that natural urge to grow despite humanity putting down concrete and saying, no, you will not grow? It still grows. You are the same. No matter how many layers of concrete have been poured over you from other people's ideas or opinions or beliefs of what you could or should or shouldn't do, be the dandelion, be the grass, and break through the structures that appear to be so solid and limiting, and show the world who you really are. Self-doubt may hinder us from expressing our passions or our desire of who we are here to be, what we are here to do. Sometimes we may be told, you're too much, or just don't make a fuss, don't stand out too much. And this fear can hold us back and then begin to, like anything, multiply within our own mind such that we begin to believe it for ourselves. And then these become the beliefs that we are living by. And really all it is a bunch of BS, y'all. Belief system. It's your belief system. I don't know what y'all are thinking of. This BS will hold you back. Your belief system will hold you back, or it will lead you forward. You can nurture the seed, or you can hinder the seed from unfolding into that divine perfection that you are. So let us choose today to not be afraid, to nurture that seed, to take that step forward, and to experience all the aliveness that life has to offer. And the fact that we are alive on this planet at this particular time means that we are being called forth to demonstrate love, fearlessness, aliveness more than ever. The world is showing us so many examples of hate and fear and judgment and lack and separation and us and them. So we must choose to rise up and remember that we are that child of the universe that Margot so beautifully sung us to. And the moment of our heart remembering who we are as we hear those words and the vibration of the music can lift us, can shift our consciousness, or can shift our vibration out of this kind of status quo, lowest common denominator vibration of the world based on separation and fear and doubt. So that's another tool when you're feeling stuck in the moment and your own kind of self-talk isn't feeling enough, put on some music. Go to our YouTube channel. We have a whole playlist of Ahava music. We pay for the rights to be able to live stream our music. So take advantage of that, or put on your favorite CD. It doesn't even have to be New Thought spiritual music. Whatever will lift you up, whatever feels good for you, put it on, move your body, shake around, and allow the energy to rise. Set down whatever problem, whatever moment you are in, and shake it off. And then come back and see if you can meet that challenge, meet that opportunity from a new perspective. So some of you may know Heather and I are in the process of renovating our kitchen. And we're doing it mostly ourselves, y'all. I just have to say. We are learning things via YouTube University that we never thought we would learn. But I do have to give a big shout out to Jim. Thank you. Jim is in the booth today. He has been our guide as well. So thank you, Jim. And we know when it's time to call a professional. We don't want to get electrocuted, but we have learned a lot. And yesterday, we were installing our new sink, and it gets to the point where we got all the parts, we're getting it together, and still there's this little psh of water. And we're just like, and Heather's the one mostly doing this at this point, and she just gets to the point where she's like, I'm done, I don't know. And I'm like, well, we have to be able to shower tomorrow. And, okay. So I was like, all right, let's stop. We were trying to get this done in order to shower to go to an event. And I said, you know what? Let's just go. It's fine. We don't have to. We've been playing outside. It's fine. They make deodorant and cloths. We can clean ourselves up enough to be presentable. Let's go. Let's shift our energy. So one of Cadence's friends invited us to a festival, a women's festival for the, I forget what it was called, Bhakti Festival or something, but basically it was an Indian women's festival that happens once a year. And there was going to be music and food and dancing. So we went, and nobody said anything about how we smelled. Luckily, I think we passed. We cleaned up enough. And taking the moment to just, we walk in the room, and it is just color, music, energy, dance, like the aliveness was palpable. And we were able to shake it off, to have fun, and not sit there, focus so hard on the problem to the point of frustration and exhaustion, and nothing gets done. So I'm not saying that the problem necessarily fixed itself, but we were able to find a solution enough where we hold a cloth around the pipe, turn the water on, one person showers, does what they need, trade, next person, hold it, do what we need, trade. And Jim, we may be talking to you after service. All right, so the point is, know when you're faced with that limit, that fear, that doubt, and it may be an opportunity to just pause, to walk away, and to shift the energy such that you can approach life differently. Marianne Williamson says, think bigger, forget limits, embrace the idea of endless possibility. It will change you. Think bigger. Forget limits. That concrete, I can bust through that. Embrace the idea of endless possibility, and it will change you. So I want you to take a moment now and really take this in. Make this personal for you. And I invite you to ask yourself, what is something that you love doing that may not look perfect to others? It may not be something that you're going to actually perform or do as a career or even share with others. But what is something that you love doing? Just take a moment. Just think about that. So for me, it's interpretive dance. I just love moving my body to music and allowing the energy of the music to tell a story in a way. But it's not my body physically at this point is not in the place where it would necessarily look entertaining to others. But I enjoy doing it. And so the key is to not be afraid of looking silly, not be afraid of failing or holding back from doing something you love just based on what it looks like or what other people think. So I take the opportunity in my house with my family, sometimes with close friends, to move my body in this way and to have fun. And it's not about a performance. It's not an opportunity to, it has been in the past, to judge myself. Now I'm just like, I'm just going to do this because it feels good. And it brings me joy and it brings me aliveness. So the invitation is for you to think about that thing, and maybe it's something you haven't done since you were a child. And how can you cultivate an experience of indulging in that creative passion of whatever it may be for you, just for you? And what do you need to create for yourself? Do you need to go get some supplies or tools or a space where you can express this passion? You know, for me growing up, all these, I felt like I was conditioned in some way that my passion or my interest needed to somehow be, what is the word, like turned into a commodity, like needs to be something that could be produced or performed or made money with, right? And I think it comes from this idea, which was very well intentioned, but those of you of my generation, like we were told, you can be anything, like follow your bliss and do what you love. And I think that what the shift was kind of coming from, working a job just to work a job to get the benefits to do this, even though you hated it, and then you get to play on the side. And then that generation that was raising my generation was like, you can embrace the two, like follow your passion and go be successful. And now I think we're finding a balance because the world needs all sorts of talents and things to survive. And I'm not sure that many people would say, and maybe they would, but that many people would say, like, I love cleaning, I love picking up the trash, I love accounting, I love all these things. Maybe they do. But what I'm inviting us to embrace is that this idea that we can have a passion and find fulfillment in that, and we don't necessarily always have to make money from that. We can also find something that is in our, not necessarily an area of genius, but an area of competency that will allow us to make the money, and we can play and find a balance, and maybe it's some kind of mix of two. But what I experienced when the pendulum kind of swung this way is then I thought, okay, everything I love and do, then somehow I need to find a way to make money from it to survive. And then what that does is put on this extra layer of it has to be perfect, it has to be good enough, and anything you create all of a sudden now is a commodity, as opposed to pure joy and self-expression. And it's something I'm still deconstructing. Like, I love doodling. I just doodle and doodle and doodle, and then sometimes I like pause, I'm like, well, should I be doing something with this? Should I upload it on something digital and then sell it as a background for, it's like my mind starts, and I'm like, can I just enjoy doodling without that part of my brain saying, oh, maybe you can make money from this? It's exhausting, y'all, right? So I don't know. Hopefully I didn't just confuse a bunch of ideas. But like I said, really the point I'm making today is your passion, your joy, your creativity. Find a way to express that without it having to be perfect, without it having to be something that anyone else would ever even care to see, much less pay for. Do it for your own sake. Do it for your own aliveness. And then watch what happens when you indulge in your passion and your energy raises to see how it may impact the other areas of your life. Are you experiencing more joy and freedom and creativity now in your career, in your relationship? Do you walk through the world differently and notice the beauty around you because something has been ignited within you that is expressing aliveness? And where do you find that radiant match, that resonance with others who are living their life from this place of passion and purpose and aliveness that can come together and create a synergy and a movement? It's so fun, right? When you're in an experience like I was at last night, one person gets up to dance. So they open the dance floor, and of course, like everyone's sitting there and like, come on, come on. And it's the two, my daughter and her friend, the two like little go on the dance floor. And then they have a moment of kind of like, everyone's looking, no one's dancing, and we encourage. And then they start, and then all of a sudden we feel like we have permission or whatever it is. It's comfortable now, more calm. And then next thing you know, everyone is on their feet. So again, what do you love to do? How can you embrace your silliness, your quirkiness, whatever it may be, letting go of the self-doubt and the self-judgment? That aliveness is the very essence of who we are. And what if you were to move through the world without being so guarded as to what others may think or how I need to fit in this situation, and simply live from that place of divine inspiration? Ernest Holmes in the Science of Mind textbook says, if the spiritual universe were not perfect, it could not exist for a single moment. The truth is invisible and whole. God is complete and perfect. So herein lies the paradox. embracing your divine perfection and living it out as a perfectly imperfect human, right? So we hold and know that we are perfect, and in the human world, we let go of the idea of having to be perfect from the human standards, and know that in our silliness, in our quirkiness, whatever it may be, that is divinely perfect. We don't need an A. We don't need a check mark. We don't need someone saying this is worthy. We know. When we feel that aliveness, when we feel that expression of spirit moving through us unhindered, we know that we are a divine, perfect spiritual being. I had a bunch of other things on here, y'all, but guess what? Hey, I'll do that next week, and it'll save me some time this week so I can play some more. How about that? Because other things are flowing through today. So I'll go ahead and wrap it up. I invite you to pay attention, to get curious about your long-held BS that may be holding you back and impacting your actions. How are you holding back from experiencing the pure joy and passion and aliveness that you are? How have you been playing it safe? And what would it look like to let go of what other people think and just be, to live life out loud? If you're up for it, here's an invitation to practice this week, to take on a challenge of doing something this week that stretches you beyond your comfort zone, even if you may fail, and to be open to how it can expand your sense of being and aliveness. Because we are all alive, so we might as well start living, yes? All right, let's do it. Let's take it into prayer. So we take this moment to connect with the breath. To recognize the ease at which we breathe. That there is something that is beating our heart, that is breathing our breath without effort. And the same effortless ease that is the very pulse of life is moving through each and every one of us, seeking to experience more aliveness. More joy, more freedom, more creativity. For what I know is that we live in a field of pure potentiality, of infinite possibility. So we get to choose to say yes to our passion, to wake up to what is motivating, what is moving, what is stirring within ourselves, and how we can nurture that divine seed so that we bloom and express to the fullness of who we are here to be. So I claim and declare right here, right now, that a healing, a shift is occurring. That any old BS, any old beliefs, any old ways of being, of walking in this world from a place of limitation, from a place of fear or doubt or lack or comparison or judgment, fall back to the nothingness from which they came. And I claim right here, right now, for each and every one of us, that the power and the strength and the beauty and the freedom and the creativity and the aliveness of life itself is blooming within each of us. that we stand confidently in this power of who we are and what is seeking to emerge within each of us as we choose to nurture our own passion and to express fully all that Spirit is seeking to express through us. For we are whole, perfect, and complete. What is true of the universe is true of us. We are made of the same God stuff. We live in the universe, and the universe lives in us. So what is possible now? We get to decide. So I'm so grateful. So grateful to recognize this truth, so grateful to speak this word and to know that it is done. As I release it into the action of the law that always says, yes, 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 my beloved, it is done, and it is so. And so it is.